You know, I talk about a lot of shit. The Gray, the Gallows. Today, I want to talk about something I actually enjoy. The 1970s Incredible Hulk live action TV show. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Come on. Some old show from 40 years ago. What's the appeal? Why should I even care? Well, to cut straight to the point, this is quite possibly one of the greatest TV shows of all time, and it's my own personal favorite. Now, the second thing you're probably asking yourself is, what the hell is this guy talking about? How is something like The Incredible Hulk considered one of the best television programs ever? Well, that's what I'm here to cover. So let's begin. Superhero shows are everywhere these days. You can't turn your head without at least one popping up on your radar. And while things aren't as extreme as they are now, back in the day, superhero shows were still pretty abundant. Knight Rider and the $6 Million Man are pretty good examples. But DC Comics also gave us George Reeves' Adventures of Superman, Adam West's Batman, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, and hell, even Captain Marvel, fucking Shazam, got his own show. But oddly enough, Marvel Comics had never really broken into the world of television when all those other companies were already in their heydays. They tried once before with Spider-Man, but it didn't exactly pan out. No, Marvel's very first live action success was in 1977 with the pilot episode of The Incredible Hulk, and it was greenlit for its first season, which is what I'll be mainly talking about today. Though I have seen the entirety of the show, this is the most recent season I've rewatched. The show is essentially a slightly loose adaptation of the Incredible Hulk character from the comics, meaning a few things have been changed, but the core aspects of the character are still here, meaning I'll be able to summarize the plot and briefly mention any changes from the source material after. A brilliant and notorious scientist named Dr. Banner, played by the late Bill Bixby, is involved in an accident where he is bombarded by gamma radiation, and instead of it killing him, it unlocked access to the most powerful thing on Earth. Whenever Dr. Banner becomes angry, feels outrage, or experiences pain, he metamorphosizes into the super strong big green monster himself, the Hulk, played in the show by Lou Ferrigno. The Hulk is a creature comprised of pure, unadulterated rage. He's essentially a really big kid that throws really big tantrums. But as cool as he is, he's extremely dangerous and very uncontrollable. Because of this, Banner has no choice but to roam around in vain searching for a cure for his affliction. While on that journey, he gets caught up in situations where he's forced to turn into the Hulk and resolve injustices. That's as basic as a gist as I can get. Now I'll just briefly mention any significant differences between the show and the original source material. For starters, the show takes a mostly realistic approach to the tone of the series. At first, it seems strange how serious the whole premise is taken, considering the topic revolves around a bodybuilder covered in green makeup and a goofy wig. But despite any hokiness, the show truly comes off more like a drama rather than a stereotypical superhero theme. Dr. Banner's full name in the comics was Robert Bruce Banner, but the producers changed the name to David Bruce Banner, so throughout the entire series, the main character is referred to as David, instead of his middle name like he does in the comics. Why change it? Simply and plainly, creator Kenneth Johnson just didn't like alliterative names. Odd prejudice, but he still kept the original middle name, so there's really no harm. For some reason, there was a rumor that got started explaining that the real reason the name was changed was because Johnson thought Bruce was a homosexual sounding name. However, no research I've done has given this rumor any weight, and it also just doesn't make any sense because if Bruce was the problem, why did he keep it as the middle name? Interestingly, the Hulk never talks, whereas in the comics he speaks often, albeit a broken language. The Hulk is noticeably smaller than his comic counterpart, but that's due to how the show had to use a tall bodybuilder to play the Hulk because CGI wasn't invented yet. But it's thanks to Lou Ferrigno's classic performance as the monster and utilization of certain camera shots that make the Hulk look bigger than he is that mitigate the distraction. The Hulk's eyes are white instead of the traditional green. I don't know why.
How David Banner became the Hulk is also different than his comic book counterpart. In the comics, he's involved in a gamma bomb explosion, whereas in the show, he accidentally gives himself an overdose of radiation from some medical equipment used to treat patients. Instead of just being a radiation specialist like in the comics, Banner is also a medical doctor and a successful chemist. The final difference worth mentioning is that instead of the military pursuing our hero, he's chased around the country by Jack McGee, played by Jack Colvin, an investigative reporter obsessed with catching the Hulk. He's a wise ass, greasy, slick son of a bitch, but sometimes he shows he can actually be a nice guy. At first, I didn't really care for Mr. McGee, but after a few episodes and just the first season alone, he's grown on me. I've ignored his snooty nature and accepted him as a staple of the show. I wouldn't have much of a choice anyway, considering that Jack McGee is the only other recurring character. But I think he works because he brings a humor element unique only to his character, a significant sense of danger for our hero, and most importantly, in a show that revolves around constantly changing characters and settings, Jack McGee brings a welcomed sense of familiarity. Mr. McGee is also responsible for some of the best episodes the show ever had to offer. Mystery Man Parts 1 and 2 are probably the best examples.
I wish I had the time to talk about all 12 episodes individually, but considering that each episode is almost an hour long, I'd be here all day if I went that route. So instead, I'll just briefly go over the best season 1 had to offer.
First up is the pilot episode. This should be seen before any other episode because this is where it all started, and the lore is best explained here. I recommend this episode for any newcomers because I think if you can't get past this one, which is considered one of the best episodes of the show, period, then you won't get into the rest of the series. Skipping over to the fourth episode, we have The Beast Within. Here we find David working in a zoo and simultaneously trying to solve a mystery surrounding some animal deaths. The major draw, however, is the Hulk fights a rampaging gorilla. It's cheesy, yeah, but it's entertaining as all hell. The Hulk Breaks Las Vegas is where the Jack McGee David Banner dynamic really gets the chance to shine. David has to deliver evidence to Mr. McGee without the two of them actually meeting, because David will then be exposed. And on top of that, the Mafia is also after the same evidence. All that combined, and you've got yourself a real nail biter. Life and Death is one of, if not the earliest examples of the Incredible Hulk tackling or revolving around a topical issue. In this case, adoption. It's intriguing to see how a show about a green monster can incorporate such a serious topic and actually handle it with respect. I hate not being able to mention every episode and every good aspect, but alas, highlights will have to suffice. Speaking of highlights, the last great thing I wanted to detail is the character David Banner himself. Now, when it comes to movies and TV, my favorite component is character. I love it when a character is done really well, when they feel like a real person, and when they have complex personalities. David Banner is one of the best characters of any TV show. He's smart and nice and charming and extremely sympathetic. I mean, I really feel for this guy. He can't get angry else he transforms into a walking wrecking ball that he can't control. And he's so scared he's going to hurt somebody, or worse, kill someone. Luckily, the Hulk persona is an extension of Banner's subconscious, so while the Hulk does attack whatever brought him out in the first place, he never actually uses lethal force. One of Banner's colleagues put it best by saying, "The Hulk won't kill because David Banner won't kill." But yeah, you sympathize with the guy because he can never relax. He's constantly tracked by someone that wants to expose his identity. He can't develop close relations with anyone, and it seems like he's searching for a cure that just doesn't exist. However, as sad as it is, he still manages to be a nice, funny guy. One of his most appealing qualities is that when he gets caught up in a situation where some stranger is in danger, instead of just walking away so he doesn't transform, he still chooses to help. It's almost like he just can't help himself but lend a hand, making him a true hero to look up to. So now that I've mentioned just about every good thing Season 1 had to offer, I now feel obligated before I close to talk about a few criticisms. I know, shocking. I've been jerking the show off for a while and I'm just now getting to the negatives. Oh well. The biggest criticism I have for the show is that the Incredible Hulk himself is the most entertaining part. He outshines anything else that happens. A good chunk of the time, the plot mixes well with the Hulk scenes, making for consistently entertaining episodes, but sometimes the scenes without the Hulk feel like they drag and really make me wish the big guy would hurry and show up again. And that kind of leads into my other main criticism. Some of the episodes don't have enough to do with Banner and the Hulk. What I mean is, I don't think the seasons revolve around the Banner Hulk dynamic as much as they should. There's so much that can be explored, like what does the Hulk think about? Is the Hulk another entity altogether? Or just an extension of Banner's personality? Or both? They're questions that don't need to be answered right away, but the least they could do is address them. Because, like I said, the Hulk is the most entertaining part. However, any negatives aside, I still think The Incredible Hulk is one of the greatest TV shows to have ever aired on cable TV. Not only is it engaging, but it's funny, relatable, and my god, does it pull at your heartstrings sometimes. If you're a serious Hulk fan, or just a Marvel fan in general, there's no reason you shouldn't check it out. I can't do it enough justice. Just go check it out. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and stay safe.
Hey guys, Garrett here. Before I ended the episode, I just wanted to come on screen real quick and say thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, thanks for sticking around if you did. I also wanted to show off my old Incredible Hulk TV show poster. Really fucking nerdy, but I just had to get it on screen. Like I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for finishing the video if you finished it. I hope you guys also are either intrigued in going and seeing the show or are fans of it yourself. If anybody has anything they want me to review or have any suggestions, just leave it down in the comments below. If not, I'm just glad you guys stopped by. You can leave a like, you can subscribe, do whatever. Comment, doesn't have to be about the show, it doesn't have to be about a movie or anything like that. But yeah, thanks again, and just have yourselves a good night, day, whatever, and stay safe.